Now we're back in the studio and we have Erhan Yildirim, expert on US-Turkey relations from TABA, from Turkish American Business Association, joining us. Erhan, welcome.
Welcome.
It's great to have you in the studio.
Thank you, Lily.
Okay, so let's just start from what we're looking at here. I just said that it's a landslide victory for AK Party, and the first executive president of the Turkish nation has been elected. Recep Tayyip Erdogan is going to be in rule for the next 5 years. What path will Erdogan take from here on in? What's your take?
I mean, it is a long journey that I've been experiencing with Mr. President Erdogan for years and years. That whatever I see, that all in this path, that whatever he wanted to do it, he did it for his country. I mean, actually, today is that. To comparing it, when I used to live in New York and coming back to Turkey last year, I came back to Turkey actually, and when I see that dynamic of the nation, that how powerful they're involved in the election, first of all, that's very important. I mean, to comparing to United States and to Turkey, sometimes we have elections that we don't even know. It's not that popular to show it or their encouragement to vote. As a Muslim civil rights group, we used to encourage people to vote in the States. Here, when I see the dynamic atmosphere, that how much are involved in the election, this is very important. And you can see that after this election has been done, that how democratically is being elected. This is a very important message to the world to show that how powerful Turkish people are. You know, they are standing by their nation. Actually, today, who won? The Turkey won. It doesn't mean who is the president at this moment probably, but Turkey won. We show that how democratic country that we are. And this is one of the important paths. And to see the people with their heart supporting their president, it's another subject. Because many times that I have many stories with many people, you know, when people were asking me in the States, what does it mean Turkey going through? Like, what is it, in which direction we are going through? So now President Erdogan, a couple of days ago, he released his new system that he was going to build it. And what is that system is going to encourage people? Or what is going to happen for the Turkish people? So I think it's going to be more modified for having them in a systematically, we are going to have a better direction. Because if you look at the last 50 years of Turkish government system, it was not going in the right direction. So it's going to open up more different directions of roads. So we're going to have more investments, more political power, more voices. That's what I believe. Yes, there is a kind of fear of the people. They're saying that their voices are not going to be heard. But I had a couple of experiences a couple of months ago that when you send a message to the president's email, they question about that right away. So I believe the system works in one president's system. So to comparing it with the States and the Turkey, if you look at in the comparison, it's totally different perspective. We live in a different region. And Turkey was a regional power. Now it's going to a global power. Because once more time, the global cartel, when they were trying to beat him up always with their news medias, with their one eye of seeing the Turkish people vote, you know, or giving a bad news about our nation. But in the end, we proved one more time that Turkey win the election with their nation. So I think all our ancestors are going to be proud of us to see that the next step for Turkish people are going to be magnificent.
Now, the AK Party has been in rule for 16 years now, and so the foreign policy has changed quite significantly since then. How do you think it will change from now on with the new presidential system and Turkey on the international arena as a country that's governed by the presidential system?
As far as that I know closely with the foreign ministers, I've been knowing him for the last 20 years. Personal friend, Mr. Çavuşoğlu is a great friend of mine. He's been also a great foreign minister since I know him. And also the Turkish, we have a lot of lobbying system all over the world. One of them, we have Turkish Heritage Organization, like that Mr. Çınar is working in the States right now, in Washington, D.C. We have a lot of friends in the States, actually, and that who are supporting what we are doing it. Sometimes when you look at the many, one by one, when we speak to them, they are understanding us. We need to explain to ourselves one more time clearly. Anytime when I used to live in New York, like when I watched some news, we're doing a great job. Sometimes taking care of some business like the Daesh or some terror organization. When we are clearing them up, we do not give that our commercialize our events. Like we don't show what we just did. So Turkey needs to explain their rights to the world more clearly. And I think by seeing the membership agreement between states and Turkey, just clarified that. And then going to back to, for example, it could be possible that even states realize that Mr. President Erdogan is going to win again. So they just give us the F-35 flight jets agreement. So even when we have the fully rights to be we were partner with that, factoring the F-35 flights. So I see the direction is going to be more clarified. In Turkey, the system is a little bit hard. Like when you look at the municipalities and the local governments, let's say, the local governments between the Prime Minister's office, there was also a lack of communication. Now with the system that the President, I wish we had the map, I witnessed it personally one-on-one with the President. The map shows that it's going to be more clear, more simple, and the minister are going to work more. Because when you see that too many ministers and doing nothing is going to be, because the President Erdogan said he had 36 ministries when he entered the 16 years ago to the government with 2002 AK Party event. He minimalized it to 16. Now he minimalized it again. So it's going to be, I think, more production, less talk, more production for the future of Turkey. That's what I see. And I think the system is not going to change our regime. It's going to give more voices of the people what they want to hear by the nation of Turkey. So I think we need to work harder. I think we need to have more like SETA, like Turkish Heritage Organization, like TABA, MÜSİAD, DEİK, all these organizations that who are working outside the country as well, because not only in Turkey, all over the world, Africa to South Africa to South America to North America, there's many different events is happening. We need to show what we are doing it. I think this term needs to be showing that what Turkey is doing the best. So I think one of the understanding is for our people we are very humanitarian people. One of the issues were that how the crisis were involved within Syria. And many people were, I was disagreeing with them. They were telling them to return them back home. Now, if you look at, I used to live in New York. I was an immigrant. And it gave me food and job and responsibility. I worked very great. It wasn't easy. It wasn't that simple. I used to collect cans and bottles on the street. But I used it in the right direction. And I became something. So I think every person that who lives around the world using that opportunity. And this is our home guests. These are people that who came to our country, and we are helping them. And we are, once their homes are built back, they're going to return it. Because like us, 24 years later, I wasn't even born here. I want to come back to Turkey. So this is the same things. Like, you need to feel it from your heart where you belong to. So I came back to Turkey. So it's not the issue that where Turkey is doing a lot of great job. Like the Native Americans, we used to help them a lot since 1984. In Virginia, there's a group of Native Americans, which the Turks believe that they are also Turkish descendant, that we help. Tika is helping them also to build water. If you go to Africa, the same thing. I'm going to give you one example. Like when the Myanmar issue was happening in Bangladesh, Bangladesh people grabbed me and start hugging me, saying it, thank you, Erhan, thank you, Erdogan. Like they were calling me Erdogan, which I wasn't Erdogan. But they were hugging me and kissing me and grabbing me because they see what Turkey is doing it for them. So that's one of the reasons that I believe Turkey is doing what they're supposed to do. Like in the history that we can tell in Ottoman Empire, that how many hundred years that we've been having a relationship globally. So I think this is the best for Turkey. Turkey won again. So I think we show the world many things. Fighting against the global cartel, saying that this has to be done this way. But I think the people heard their inner side of their voice, and they, as you see in the scene, it's amazing. People are chanting and supporting their rights, and this is their freedom of their speech. I think, and both equally. Today, there is not maybe in only a one party that everybody won. So even if it was the other side, we were still going to be having a win election for Turkey. We showed the democracy in the world.
Now, there's two very important points from the discussion there. I want to talk about Turkey's cross-border fight on terror and also touch on the Syrian migrant situation as well. But at the moment, we're going to go over to Kısıklı, so we just want to hold on to you
No problem.
and keep the discussion going.
Sure.
Now, we're back in the studio and we've got Mr. Erhan Yıldırım with us, so we just had to interject there.
Wonderful.
Now, I just want to go back to how you evaluate Turkey's cross-border fight on terror. You just touched on it briefly before. With the 16-year rule of the AK Party, we've had the olive branch just recently. We've had the Euphrates Shield take place. And this is an ongoing problem that Turkey's been facing for 40 years now. Turkey has been at the brink of, well, not the brink of war, but continuously fighting a war on terror with the PKK terrorist organization. So I just want to hear about your comments on that.
When you were just saying about the cross-border fights, I just remember the Gulf War. I was not that, probably 18, 19 years old. So I was watching the news, seeing the Gulf War. So years later, when YouTube was very famous, I don't know if I can say that, like the social media was very famous, I started seeing that the Gulf War was actually in a studio. Many different channels, I don't want to name the channels, they were actually in a green screen, and actually they were pretending they were in that region. The war in that area, Afrin and Manbij, all these areas, is real. Our nation suffered a lot. Actually, there was many different sides of the stories that we were trying to handle this in a very fragile way. But unfortunately, it didn't happen, and we had to take an action. And I think, again, we explained ourselves very well in the international countries, and we explained to ourselves in the United Nations that we need to take this action. And we did it. So in the end, we showed that Turkish nation is very strong again, and they will take their matters on their own hand. And nobody was there next to us. So when they saw that we were in a great opportunity, and when we entered, I spoke to a couple of people from Hama, actually, a lady who his kid was having a surgery in Turkey. I visited in the hospital, my friend, and I saw that young lady, and she was Arabic. And when I was spoken to her, and her daughter was 3 years old, had a surgery in her eye, and I asked her, "Are you from Syria?" She said, "Yes." And I said, "So tell me about yourself." She said, "My husband was bombed by Daesh, and I got married to another man, and thanks to Turkey, I'm here." So I look at that story. People who are coming to another country, in Germany, like my father who arrived there as an immigrant in 1969. Myself, I went to New York. I mean, I see many different stories. People used to jump from the ship to come to the States. I mean, was there a war in Turkey? No, they just wanted to make more money. So here in our homeland, in our borders, we have people who are suffering from many terror organizations. We need to clear that area. Turkey did a great job, and we did giving our home to them. We shared our home. This is our belief. When your neighbor is hungry, You need to break your bread and share it with them. So this is one of the things that I don't understand what book says and you don't do what the book says. It's a little bit complicated. So that's why I think what we taking place in that region, it show when I look at the pictures, I wish one day I have a chance to go and see myself there. And that how well they receive the Turkish people, the Turkish soldiers. They, humbly they're hugging them, and when they see that Turkish flag, and that's one of the being proud of being a Turkish. The seeing that how our guys, our soldiers are being there and showing they're representing us. We all are representative in the world individually. So that's why I think we showed a clear message. The Turkish people are not there to massacre or not there to take their lands. Probably we have the right, why Mustafa Kemal Atatürk was fighting for the last minute for Kirkuk and Musul, but we still didn't go there with that intention. President Erdogan said many times, we are not there to take their lands. We are there to make sure that clear of terrorism is. So this is what's been cleared and now is more safer. I think it's going to take more time because this war is like almost last 10 years right now, lasting it. So it's going to continue more. It's going to be hard to develop, but I believe that with a group of nations, and it's going to be entering it. One more story.
Sure.
A friend of mine that I met recently, Mr. Fahir, he's actually a very good businessman in Kuwait, but actually a Syrian descendant. And he invited me to Kuwait to show how Kuwait is, but he was a dentist for many years in Kuwait, but he is a Syrian descendant. July 15, he was here by accidentally. He loves Turkey. He admires Turkey. Sometimes I question myself if he loves more or me. So that much he says. And I called him that you became Turkish. And he made a lot of investments in Turkey. When many different dollar was going up and down, he said, no, I'm not going to change my Turkish lira to anything. I'm going to keep it. And he has a business here. And he became Turkish. He has a Turkish citizenship because of investment, because he invests a lot of money and he's building constructions now. Mr. Fahir showed something very unique, that he is from his heart. That not only because Turkey is just an opportunity country, his wife's Rim, which is called mean deer in Arabic, she said, when I come to this country and when I see what changed, I feel like I came back home. And they never lived here. So I think we are doing something good. If we are able to go to United States, to Miami and buying a house, why not they come back to us and buy it from us? I mean, I think this is one of the ways to explain ourselves. Sometimes people are asking questions, oh, many people are buying a house. Okay, great. You're buying it in New York. You're buying it in Los Angeles. Why not? Let them buy it here. It doesn't mean that your land is being sent to somewhere else. Somebody's going to stay there. So I think many of these things shows that we are becoming more, like I said before, a regional power and regional family. That our doors, yes, it's sad that our doors we are always fighting, but our doors are going to be clear with terrorism. We're going to do more powerful communication with our international partners. And it's going to be, again, fighting back with love. We're not going to have any anger. People think that this is one of the things they don't understand. That Turkish people are, when you give them the love, they will give you triple back. I mean, I understand if you touch their nails a little bit, they will just become a giant and take care of their own business. I think one of the things is it takes time to clear all terrorism.
All right. Well, again, you gave us some nice anecdotes and stories about some Syrian people that you've met and encountered. Just want to ask you about that. The CHP candidate Muharrem İnce and the E-Party president candidate Meral Akşener actually have bold statements about the Syrian refugees and residents in Turkey. They said if they were to come into power and win the election, they would send them back. just
I
to
mean,
quote them. What do you say about this?
I think that's I think that was just a political speech to making it getting the votes because there are some issues sometimes integrating the immigrants to your nation. You know, it is sad in this whole entire Muslim country that we are the only one that who are opening their doors to our refugee friends. And we always say that, right? In our prayers, please God, don't allow us without any land. We make that prayers. You know, we want to make sure that our land is their home. One of the things is when the political speeches are made, they don't understand the reality that what these people are suffering then. Giving the excuse that Mr. President Erdogan start the war or anything, that's what I heard also continuously saying it all because of him. It was that speech, that because of his communication with the group, the Syrian war started, and then I'm going to make a peace with him, and I'm going to send them back home. That's not going to happen that easily. It's going to happen step by step. If people want to go back in their home country, they will go freely go back. I think one of the things was Muharrem İnce's speech was probably, again, just to get more votes, maybe to his political party. That's what I believe. Because I got that question a couple of times. Then I said, okay, some from French, from Germany, they should send us back home too. I mean, it's a little bit cheap talk for me. I mean, I believe that we need to be more realistic to the fact that, what are you talking about it? If you go to a hospital right now, I saw one Palestinian doctor who treated me very well here. And I was very happy and humbled. And I tried to speak with my bad Arabic, and he said, keep talking to me in Turkish. I think it's better than you know, Arabic.
Force yourself
so you know,
to speak Arabic.
you know, you can see how doctors treated you here. Do we have a lot of doctors? Yes, we have, but we have also a nice gentleman who was from Palestine. Why not from Syria? Why not from Bangladesh? I mean, the world is now global. Like Mr. Hariri was giving a speech, I think this winter was it. 100 years later, we're not going to have any more nations probably. We're going to be one ethnicity. So people are going to change. So we need to understand to how to live with each other. Yes, there are some bad news, but we need to integrate them. We need to show them how to integrate them, or we need to having a process of educating them Turkish language, or giving them that opportunities. So that's, I think, one of the things are going to happen in this time of period. If anybody is asking me, I will have lectures for them, trying to explain to them. So we need to process that management for having them integrated to our country.